Hi, I'm your trainer, Mr. Ngige. Taking you through our lesson 8, block diagram. Good morning. By the end of the lesson, trainee should be able to create blocks in a drawing, insert blocks in a drawing, draw various electronic symbols, circuits, schematic diagrams, block diagrams, single line diagrams. In AutoCAD, we already have we are going to use all the commands, the drawing commands, all these commands that we have are up here, the modify tools, all these commands that we have. So basically we shall be like trying to use all these commands to come up with symbols or various drawings. So to create a block, you need to create shapes using the drawing tools and use the block command to convert all the objects into a single object. Inserting commands. After creating a block, you can insert it at the desired location inside the drawing using the insert command. Electrical drawings. Electrical drawing can be divided into the following categories: circuit, wiring, wiring schedule, block diagram, and parts list. So remember all that we have been doing previously in working with the various drawings. We were getting some basics into how we can come up with diagrams in electrical. For this introductory class, I term it as an introductory class. We shall begin by starting from known to unknown. So we will come up with shapes. So we identify a shape and we try to reproduce it, and then we print it using the various knowledge in AutoCAD that so far we have acquired. So we shall come up with circuit diagrams, wiring diagrams, a wiring schedule, block diagrams, and parts list. So I'm going to show you some of these diagrams. A circuit diagram, it has symbols, lines. So you can see, for example, we have this shape. It looks like a circle but scaled, so there you're using scaling. And you have this line which is horizontal, there you're using ortho. And you can see this one inclined, so that here we are using the polar. And here we have a triangle. That one has been constructed using the ortho command. So you can come up with this, and then they have been labeled CV. Here they have used the dtext command. The wiring diagram. This is the drawing which shows all the wiring between the parts, such as the control signal functions, power supplies, and other connections, terminations of unused leads contacts, interconnection via terminal posts, blocks, plugs, sockets, and lead through. So you can come up with this. There's no magic, just you to use the skills that you already have, and I know you can. Block diagrams. The block diagram is a functional drawing which is used to show and describe the main operating principle of the equipment, and is usually drawn before the circuit diagram is started. So again, 415 volts, 3 pH. They have used the D-text to draw the line, the main contactor. So here they have used the draw line command. Basically, that is what they have done. So you can reproduce such kind of a diagram in AutoCAD. Symbols in electrical drawing. So it is key that we know these symbols. So after this, I'm going to share some materials that shows the various symbols. So for a conductor and terminals, so these are the terminals, the 2 zeros. Then you have this straight line that serves as the conductor. For inductors, you can see here we have one inductor, and you can see here we have, for example, now maybe you might ask, how do we create an inductor? For example, in the modify tools, we have commands like the explode. So you can see what the manipulation you can do to it, and then drawing these lines. I'm sure here they have used the offset or the array. Yeah, so you can use such kind of commands to come up with this. A resistor. How do you come up with a resistor? So simply for this one, you can just use a zigzag line type, and you come up with a resistor. So for a capacitor, so you can here use one line, then you offset it. After offset it at the middle point using the O snap, you can using the ortho, you can come up with such kind of a symbol. For a fuse, a simple just draw using ortho straight line. Then you still using ortho, come up with such kind of a rectangle. So for a switch, the same. Here use a polar. So just use that. So for diodes, rectifiers, full waves and half waves, again, come up with a diode. So here you have use ortho again to draw the vertical, then use the polar to come up with a triangle. All that. And remember, there is also how you can shade that part in block. We shall improve on this one come next as a semester. So the other thing the same, do that. So the resources is the AutoCAD Basic, and I have borrowed heavily from AutoCAD Electrical 2016 Black book, and also some materials from AutoCAD Block lesson. So I would encourage you to practice this one in the AutoCAD and watch on the demonstration on AutoCAD. I'm just to illustrate maybe for 2 diagrams. Then if it's your first time, kindly subscribe. We appreciate the subscription. Then also like, share if you've already subscribed. I have exercises for you. So for this lesson, kindly visit the lab and do the following. Draw a P-N diode, a capacitor, a resistor, an inductor, a step-up transformer, step-down transformer, NPN transistor, PNP, transistors. So where do we get these diagrams? I'm going to share some materials by the class governor. Then these are the basics. After performing the basics, you can do the following. Design and draw a half-wave rectifier with a capacitor filter. Design and draw a full-wave rectifier circuit. Design and draw the power circuit of a forward and reverse motor starter. Design and draw the control circuit of a direct online motor starter. Then design and draw the single line diagram of the Kenya grid from generation to consumer. All these resources are available online, so you can check on them. Also, kindly submit the screenshot of your work via email. You have my email, or you can just simply, yes, use the email, the one that the class governor has. So the last thing is this. So in your assessment, you expect to be asked to, the figure shows an electronic circuit. Use computer software to draw the circuit, print and hand over the hard copy. So how do we come up with this one? So again, we have a resistor. So here you can use a line, but anyway, as you progress, you shall identify in some of the AutoCADs, they have these inbuilt components for a speaker, for a condenser, MSC, for capacitor. They have them for transistor, they're there. But for this lesson, I would encourage you to just come up with it manually to come up with this. So I will highly appreciate and I value your work. So I would highly encourage that this is the production I expect you for this lesson and going forward until next week. Kindly ensure you submit this one, and I will highly be encouraged to see that you draw. Kindly, of the hint is that employ heavily on the drawing commands, the modify commands, and then the status bar commands, the ortho, the polar. Kindly employ them heavily. So in AutoCAD, you can do the following. So you can see like on my screen, I have come up with just a sketch. I have used a line and a layering, and then I have used the dtext command to show this one is a wire. So these are the basics. Here I have used just a line command. Again, I have used to draw the vertical or ortho command and polar, and then I have used the ortho, and I've said this one is a diode. So for the exercises above, start with this. We call this one starting from known to unknown. So once you come up with this one, you can join by, for example, if at all I want to join this diode, then I join it to the wire. We know how to move. I can just select the whole of this and then I move it using the move command. If at all maybe I want to change, for example, I want maybe to, for example, move this wire so that now it is not horizontal but vertical. Remember, I can just come to rotate command. So you can draw the various diagrams. For this lesson, we shall not employ much of the blocks and everything. I would encourage you just to come up with diagrams, then work on these commands to see how you can arrange them. So for the simple, start with this. For the complex, it requires you also now to come up and use the modifying tools. So I think for this lesson, I stop at that point. Come next semester, we shall continue working on this. For those who are taking their formative assessment, I would encourage you to work on this area very much, and also work on the, I hope I'm clear, because I'm aware there are some classes which are taking the formative assessment. And also remember that our assessment will be 50% the manual and 50% AutoCAD. So that brings me to the end of my presentation and introduction to blocks and the various types of electrical drawings we can come up with. So I've been your trainer, Mr. Ngige. Thank you very much.